Good afternoon, everybody. I'd like to kindly ask you to please take your seats so we can begin the session. Thank you. So, welcome to the first campus conversation of this academic year. We are very excited to be here today. It's an absolute pleasure. My name is Siham Al-Mraid. I'm an assistant professor of epidemiology at SSE. It's also an absolute pleasure to be joined by our AUC leaders today. We'll start with some updates from President Dallal. Following that, we'll get to hear from Provost Abdurrahman. And then we also have some exciting updates regarding the Campus 2026 project that we will be sharing with you. So to start, I'd like to pass it on to you, President Dallal.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Thank you for making the time. Let me, as always, start by welcoming our new students and faculty and staff. We've had occasions to welcome all in pieces in different locations, but once again, welcome, and I hope everyone will have an amazing, exciting, rewarding experience on campus. I'll be very brief because the agenda is quite packed, and we want to also open the, give everyone a chance to ask questions. So let me very quickly go over some of the highlights. We have another, highlights of what's waiting for us this year. We have another busy year ahead of us, and partly because, no good deed goes unpunished. Every time you do something good, you need to build on it, and you need to do more, and so on. And there is quite a bit that we're doing. Plus, of course, there are existential challenges around us that we always need to deal with and manage as we have in the last few years. The first thing to report on, and again, the provost might elaborate on some of these issues. We concluded a successful, another year of successful recruitment. We met our targets and did quite well on this front, while maintaining the quality of the intake of the students that we recruit. This is important because, as you know, last year, with the termination of the USAID projects, we suffered a significant financial challenge. And before that, of course, in the previous years, there's been devaluation, which has been a challenge that we've tried to navigate, and I think navigate relatively successfully, or very successfully, probably. It depends on how you want to look at it. Never able to completely mitigate and remove the impact of devaluation and the financial challenge, but I think we mobilized as best as anyone can to look after the needs and interests of our community, of our students, of our staff, primarily those who are impacted by the devaluation. So now again, financial sustainability, the financial health of the institution remains a question that we need to pay attention to as we move forward. And of course, successful recruitment is a step, not the only one, but it's one of the steps that enables us to navigate the situation, hopefully successfully. Campus 26, without getting into too many details, Campus 26 moves on. We are in the midst of the construction. The construction is actually becoming more and more tangible and feasible. As you know, we've identified 3 priority projects for which we're building structures. The first is building new housing. It's a shy, modest step, adding 300 beds. The theme of this project is access for students from the provinces, access for international students, and it fits perfectly well within our strategy. The second project is one of first of its kind industrial park in Egypt, and one of the hopefully lead one in the regions. the Technology Research and Innovation Lab. Again, something which is extremely, I mean, something which many lead universities all over the world are working on, and something which is absolutely needed for Egypt and for the region. It gives us an opportunity to translate the knowledge, the theoretical knowledge that we have into real-life solutions and solutions of real-life problems. And again, it's a major transformative project that we're engaged in. And the third project is connected to the pillar, the future of work, upskilling the workforce, targeting the workforce and aiming to upskill the workforce to the extent that we can. The Extended Education Hub is the third project. Again, the point here is to contribute to the upskilling of the workforce throughout the various expanded education programs that we have in the School of Continuing Educations and the other schools, so that we could actually help people who are currently working transform themselves, reinvent themselves, contribute to their own lives, but also contribute more meaningfully to the public space, to the workforce. A fourth priority in our fundraising activities, as always, is supporting students. Students at risk, students who don't have the financial means but have the capacity. We continue to work on this. We suffered the loss by the, after the termination of the USAID programs. We continue to work for alternatives. We continue our commitment to our students. And this is always a priority area we need to work on. So there are four institutional imperatives, as it were. There are the three transformative projects currently under construction, for which we're targeting fundraising and trying to mobilize support. We also try to mobilize support for supporting our students, our future students. There are, by the way, two additional what we call strategic priority opportunities in addition to the strategic priorities and imperatives. These are, we've identified through multiple conversations and discussions and so on, and based on the actual experience that we have on campus. First, the opportunity to scale up our work in the area of culture and heritage. That could be anywhere from the theoretical, hypothetical work that we contribute, academic work, in other words, and on to the administrative work, supporting the support backbone of work in this space. There are multiple initiatives underway in this area, and this is another area where we think we can make a significant contribution over and above what we currently do. And the second strategic opportunity and the sixth primary area for which we're trying to mobilize support is the opportunity of the possibility of having a PhD program in Middle Eastern studies. Of course, there are efforts as well. There is work underway in the business school to introduce a PhD program in business. These are major undertakings that will be under consideration in this coming year. There are a number of important searches, including the Vice President of Institutional Advancement and Alumni Relations, and there are other major important academic searches and on the academic side of the house. This is going to be very important, significant work. We are searching for leaders in some of the key areas that we have in the university. But over and above all of this, there are our academic priorities. There is a huge amount of work which is being done, which is currently being done, and at different stages in its development on the academic front, which is obviously our primary business. Whether it is in terms of the quality of education that we give to our students, the quality of our academic programs. This is work that started way back, and last year a university-wide task force on the quality of education came up with its findings, and some of these findings require intensive work, which we have already embarked on in multiple areas, ensuring that our programs are up to date and relevant, and that these are delivered in the most optimal way to serve our student community. This is one one area, and there are multiple initiatives under this area. And again, when I say multiple initiatives, I mean really multiple initiatives. We're not talking about one thing. This is not an idea that we have a theoretical, hypothetical idea. This is where our primary effort is invested over and over again. I mean, you're familiar. We've talked about the programs of the future. This work has started already 2 years ago, and there are many, many entities and units within the university that are working in this area, revisiting our programs, our academic offerings to ensure that our academic offerings are again up to date, relevant, and keeping up with developments across the world in higher education. Connected to that, it's not just rethinking the content of what we do, it's not just rethinking the pedagogy, but it's also rethinking the optimal administrative structure that will enable us to manage our academic programming. There are restructuring efforts on multiple fronts again, and these will be ongoing in conversation with our faculty. These will be ongoing as we proceed this coming year. And one big ticket item under this larger heading is a strategy for artificial intelligence. There is already very, very significant pioneering work that was done here at the university over this, for 2 years now, since artificial intelligence descended on us, all of us. There is very good work that has been done, that is actually underway, training for faculty and students, and now training for staff. We're developing programs to train staffs. There is work which is done on the academic front in terms of conceptualizing offerings and artificial intelligence, but we've formed a university-wide task force to consider all aspects of artificial intelligence related to teaching, pedagogy, the responsible use of artificial intelligence, the impact on teaching and learning, the impact on the academic impact. What are the requirements that we will try to impart throughout the university to our students? What other support are we going to do? And also how artificial intelligence can support and guide our institutional operations. So this task force is building on the work that has been done. They will not stop the work that has been done. They will continue the work. They will continue to expand it and build on it. But they also work on developing a university-wide strategy for artificial intelligence. These are some of the headlines. The actual list of things that we're going to be doing this year is really, I mean, first of all, I don't remember all of it. And it's really expansive. And it's in every corner of the university. But I think these are some of the big headings that you will be watching and observing, and we will all be contributing to in the year to come.
Thank you, President Dallal. To you, please, Provost.
Hello and good afternoon. And I join President Dallal in welcoming all new members to our community, faculty, students, and staff. I will talk about the enrollment first because usually everyone is worried about our enrollment at the beginning of the semester. This year we had a very good season of enrollment. So we received for almost, and I will approximate the numbers. I will not say the exact numbers, but it's plus or minus 10. So we received almost 450 applications. And out of those, we enrolled 4,050 applications. Yes, thank you. And from out of those, we enrolled 1,253 students. So on campus now, we have almost 1,250 new students joined us this year. They come from all over Egypt, and they come also from other countries. Our international students are almost the same as the last couple of years. There is no much increase in the degree-seeking undergraduate international students, but we are noticing more students come for a semester abroad or a year abroad at AUC, and so we're noticing an increase in the total number of international students on campus. I'm sure that you have been noticing that. On the graduate level, we received almost 1,400 applications. Out of those, we admitted 250 applications in the graduate and the undergraduate number of, when it comes to the number of enrolled students for graduate and the undergraduate, we actually achieved the target that we wanted to have for this year. So this year was really good year for us. And as the president mentioned, we did not really lower our standards when we, in admitting those students. As the president mentioned, also we have very important searches this year in the academic area. And we got surprised by one more search. I'm going to announce it today since already it was announced in the relevant school. So we're searching for a new associate provost for enrollment management. And I would like to take the opportunity to thank Dr. Ahmad Dallal for his effort actually over the last 3 years to move that area a lot forward. And we're looking for a new leader to lead us into a new phase of strategic enrollment management. We're also looking for a new associate provost for entrepreneurship and innovation. As you know, one of the 3 projects that Dr. Khalid Tarabia will present to us today the progress about is the TRI-Lab, Technology Research Innovation Lab. And this is the university effort to translate research from only a research on a paper to a product that we can market, and also to provide the ecosystem, the right ecosystem for all entrepreneurship and innovation activities on campus and maybe beyond too. And we also looking for a new leader to lead us into that domain. So we just announced those 2 positions. Also, as you have read from the announcement, Dean Nohal Mikawi is also leaving us at the end of her term, which is concludes by the end of this academic year, and we are looking for a new dean for the School of Global Affairs and Public Policy. I would like also to take the chance to thank Dr. Noha El-Mukawi for her effort during those last 3 years. The time will come for Noha to thank her. She's not leaving us now. She's still with us for a year. Also, Dean John Miloy, and he announced in his school, and I made sure that he announces in his school before we announce here, and I will be sending an email to the community, decided to retire by the end of this year. And we tried to talk him out of retirement, but he's insisting on retiring and going back to do whatever he likes, which is to do more research in his area, and we wish him the best of luck. So we will be opening, starting the search for a new dean of School of Humanities and Social Sciences as well. Also, Dr. Fadi Morus, Assistant Provost for Innovative Learning Experience, has decided some time ago, and we have been talking to him about that for some time, to leave academia and go to the industry by the end of this calendar year. And there is transition in place, but we also advertised for that job and hoping to replace Fadi. It's really hard to replace Fadi. Fadi really is a unique, yeah, I know, that's a unique individual with lots of talents. It's really sad for me personally to see Fadi leave the university. As I told him this morning, I'm still hoping that he will change his mind. Or Fadi, I'm inviting you to apply for the job. On the accreditation, as you know, we have announced that we're going through 2 major accreditations, the Middle States accreditation and the Egyptian Naqa accreditation, and there's lots of effort going on that. There is more than 50 faculty and staff members, am I correct, involved in preparing our self-study report, and we will dedicate more communication about that. Part of preparation of the accreditation was actually to look at the mission statement of the university, and I'm sure that all of you have received the survey about that. We are now analyzing the outcomes of the survey, and we will announce the outcomes of the survey very soon. This academic year, we will restart again the second cycle of reviews of all academic programs. In the last 5 years, we reviewed all academic programs at AUC. That review was led by Dr. Zainab Amin. Almost 90 program has been reviewed. We provided every program with all details about their pros and their weaknesses and their strength. And we also provided deans with all those data and information, and they are working now on the weaknesses. And now this is the time to restart that process again and to see what did we achieve from the last review and how to move forward. This review this year is a little bit different. It's the same, but with a little bit of including into it the outcomes that came from the quality of education that has to go back to our programs also, so they can work on the initiatives and goals that came out from the quality of education, and it also will include the competitiveness framework that we presented to the community before, that was developed by Dr. Fadi Moros and his team. Last announcement I would like to talk. As you know, AUC does not have a School of Medicine, and I don't think there is a plan that we will have a School of Medicine, so do not read my words wrongly. But we have reached an agreement with a university abroad. We will announce that very soon, but I want you to also hear that from us, that if students join AUC and they are interested to go to a School of Medicine, they can join AUC for a year, then move to that university abroad and join their medical school, or for 2 years, and there are requirements for each category, then they join that university and get that degree from abroad, or they can graduate from AUC or from the pre-med program, then join that university and get their medical degree from abroad. I think we will be expanding more into that direction to allow students who are interested to study medicine somehow access to quality medical schools. So this is the first of many agreements to come. And we will announce that at the right time. We did not sign yet, but we finalized everything. It's just waiting me to sign it. I will sign that agreement and we will move forward. I'm sorry, I promise this is the last thing. During the summer, we reviewed all students on financial aid. There were more than 850 students on financial aid. We reviewed all those students. We asked them to resubmit all their documentations. The Office of Financial Support, Student Financial Support, spent a lot of time looking at all details, and they send their decisions back to the students just before we start the semester. Some students received more financial aid. Some students stayed with the same amount of financial aid. Some students received less financial aid, and some students actually were not eligible anymore to receive financial aid from the university. So out of all applications, 7.8% appealed the decision, and I believe that they received the decision on the appeal this week. And I would like to thank really the office for making sure that we really put the financial aid where the student really need it. So the review was very important to make sure that we optimize the return on our resources and make sure that the students who really deserve the financial aid get it. And I'm happy to take questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Provost Abdurrahman. Now I think we have received some recent visuals from the 26 campus project that will be shown on the screen here and there. I think you can also watch on that screen, yes. So join me in watching those, please. So to walk us through some of these developments, I'd like to invite our university architect, Professor Khalid Tarabia, to give us some updates. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'm not sure. There has to be there's a slideshow or something that should run, I think, around. So for those who were not with us last time when we spoke about the project, we started March. Of course, we started previously with design and planning, but we started actual construction around October of 2024 for preparing the site, and then March 2025 with the actual construction of the main buildings. As you see here, we have the TRI lab where we are done with foundations, columns. We are at the basement of the plaza level, so we're above ground at this point. Next to this, I think there are other pictures. You can see here that side is the side facing Street 90, and then we have the two labs of the tri-lab right in front of it. This is the student housing. It looks as one building here, but that's the basement of the two student housing buildings, and it's a one piece underground. When we're above ground, you're starting to see two buildings emerging above ground. That's the hub, and the hub here are two actual separated buildings. In between them, there is an underground connection, and all of the projects, all three projects, are connected to a new tunnel, 900 meters. That's actually a new branch from our main tunnel. So we're maintaining the same way we distribute our systems, we service our buildings, and that's about it where we are. And we anticipate our first milestone for finishing up the core and shell of the building and good part of the finishes inside, I hope, by August 2026, then full occupancy during 2027, spring or summer, around that time. So if you have any questions, please let me know.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Khalid. I think, yeah, we have time for any questions regarding the Campus 2026 project or any questions in general, actually, to AUC's leaders. Thank you. Yes, please.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I have a question regarding how the students would have pathways to contribute to this. How the students would have is there a process or a channel for students to contribute to the ongoing growth strategy for AUC? Especially, you mentioned the AI strategy, and there are students. I myself am going to pitch at Cornell University in November with a project on AI, actually, representing EUC as a university. So are there pathways to collaborate with administration on moving on such individual initiatives, but on an institution level? Thank you.
Thank you. Very good question. On AI specifically, the task force will be engaging with multiple university constituencies as well as external constituencies, because we need to assess the workforce, the market, and what it needs, and so on. So there will be intensive focus groups, and at the top of that is, of course, working with students and so on. The task force is quite large, as you can expect, because it covers so many different, but the charge for the task force requires very specifically engaging with the students as well as other constituencies. On the tri-lab, and these are just two examples of almost everything that we're talking about. There's nothing that doesn't engage multiple constituencies within the university. And the tri-lab, Dr. Khalid can talk about this more specifically. Students are actually doing student projects. They are engaged in the work in the construction process and shadowing it and doing projects on that process. But Khalid can speak more.
Yes,
directly.
so we have students who are part of the typical shadowing of like the day-to-day like work study students joining. During summer, we had a program rather compressed because students didn't want to give out all their summer, so we gave them a 4-week compressed program to actually take a rotation around all the phases of construction, and they were 3 construction major students. We're opening up for we're going to have a sign-up kind of sheets and all of that. We can admit a number, but not a large number. But basically, much of the utilization will be during summer when they have time. During winter, we have them, but in the offices, just they're helping us with the design aspects of the project.
And just to add, at all levels of the work that we do, students are engaged. Of course, all constituents are at different levels, of course. So, for example, in the quality of education task force work, there was intensive engagement with the student body, and many of the initiatives that we already started working on are in response to valid concerns that were raised by the students, such as, for example, the quality of advising, such as the initial courses that we offer, such as the instructors that offer these courses, and so on and so forth. And we've already put in place mechanisms to start addressing these issues as identified by the students. So at the level of identifying the challenges that we need to face, constituencies within the university actually contribute to identifying these issues, because you can talk about student-centered approach to education, but what does that mean for us specifically? That's something that we need to think about together and articulate together. And then at the level of the implementation, there is a role for students to play and so on. So it's a continuum, and multiple segments within the community will be engaged in all of these many different projects.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? Yes.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for the update. It's a very busy agenda, obviously, this year. My question, again, is on AI, but on a different angle. We read reports from abroad that's still not hitting us yet, that the entry-level jobs are shrinking globally, which immediately means that the product we're submitting to the market is not going to be an entry level anymore. So how are we adapting to this, which is actually a moving target, to prepare them for a second-tier job, third-tier job versus an entry job? So I think that's different angle of AI.
Dr. Motaz, that's an excellent question. I'm sorry, I don't have an answer to that. Really, we don't have an answer. We don't know really how are we going to cope with the rapid progress of AI, and what I want to only tell our faculty, all of them, if we don't do something, absolutely there will be a big issue in the future. Many jobs will disappear, and we have to be ready for that. And we have to be ready by preparing our students for this. So our courses now, do all of our courses prepare the students for the jobs 10, 20, 30 years from today? The answer is no. And we need to actually go back and review not only the courses and the contents and the way we present them to the students. Are we just giving them the information, or are they part of their education journey at AUC? All of that we have to look at it and to make sure that we really can make sure that those students, when they graduate, not only find jobs, but also create jobs in the future. The drawback in academia, and we all know this, and we have to talk about it, is we are slower than the world outside those walls, and we need to move fast. And that does not mean only faculty, by the way, or only administration. Everyone in the university should move faster, should actually start teaching himself or herself about how can he or she use AI to improve themselves, not the work, improve yourself. Do I use AI now? Absolutely, I use it. Do I try to learn every day something new? Yes, otherwise I will not be able to understand what others are saying. So it's our responsibility collectively and individually to make sure that we lead by example, so those students can learn from us that actually that lifelong learning is not just a motto anymore. This is the way to survive in the future.
Again, as you have said, a very important question. Look, this is one of the issues that we need to address when we think of a university-wide strategy. As I said, we were ahead of many other universities in the work that we started doing 2 years ago. But there is so much more, and we have, first of all, we have to recognize that we're catching up. And not just us at AUC, everyone, every university is trying to catch up with developments in industry, and really amazing, transformative developments with the whole bunch of possibilities and potentials, but also challenges. One of the issues is loss of jobs. It's only one of the issues, but also the possibility of creating in their place other different types of jobs. But if you're going to be able to do that, you really you have to be in the driver's seat. You cannot just always be trying to catch up. It's not just teaching our community how to use AI tools. It's training at least a segment of our community on how to design these tools. This is, I mean, the whole region is lagging on this front. And if we're going to be part of the cycle of creating new jobs, we really need to know what is it that we're dealing with. We need to build general competency in AI. We need to build in-depth. We need to integrate AI in our courses and in our operations. We need to have in-depth training and expertise that we build in the university so that, again, we're not just part of the consumption cycle, but we're part of the productive cycle in this field. And we have to be resilient because the changes will be so rapid, so it's not a one-time job. It's a job that we have to do and redo every couple of weeks or a couple of months.
Thank you, Provost Ihab. And President Dallal, do you have any more comments, thoughts, questions? Yes, thank you.
Hi, so I'm a student in SSE, and you did say that you were able to successfully maintain or even improve the rate of international students that we have in the student body. But I think you'd agree with me that most of them are in majors that are aimed towards like community sciences, like humanities, social sciences, or the global affairs and public policy schools. And not many of them are spread in other majors in the university, so it's not, the rest of the student body are not able to interact with these international students. And many students, such as myself, we chose the AUC because we knew it would have a diverse community of many different nationalities. It would be basically an even better experience than traveling abroad, but we're missing out on it, especially in SSE, because we don't see many of these people in our classes or in our majors. And also, I think it's important to care about diversity in SSE, especially because even professors who bring other points of view to like of research to our school, it's going to be very useful because every country has very different trends of research that are happening. So the research that's trending in Egypt is going to be different than Switzerland, is going to be different than Canada. And bringing professors from all over the place is going to enable AUC to innovate way more, and also is going to solve the problem of us being an international university that's just viewed as a university with an international certificate. We want to be viewed as actually a university with an international community, which is going to attract a lot more people. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's a very important questions. I'm glad that some of our deans are here today so they can listen to students when it comes at least to diversity of faculty. Yes, our direction at the university when we hire faculty is really to diversify the school of thoughts that come to campus from bringing people, faculty from all over the globe. And we're focusing, deans will tell you that we are focusing in the last few years to attract more international faculty to Egypt. But let's be realistic here. If you want to do science and engineering, where would you go to do research in science and engineering? So if I'm a faculty member and I want to do cutting edge science and engineering research, which country would I go to do that? United States, Europe, Japan, maybe, right? So we don't have in the country the ecosystem for research in science and engineering. We're trying to build our own micro ecosystem in the School of Sciences and Engineering. So our best bet in sciences and engineering is to attract Egyptian faculty who studied abroad or stayed abroad for long and got exposed to many of different school of thoughts in their fields and convince them to come back to Egypt. So this is our contribution also to the country to reverse the brain drain in the country. But the opportunity to attract faculty in humanities, social sciences, maybe the Academy of Liberal Arts and Business from who are international, not from Egyptian origins, to EUC is much, much higher because this is their lab. This is really where they want to do a Middle East studies. So if I want to go to do a Middle East studies, would I go to Japan? Okay. So that's why sometimes you see that imbalance when the faculty distribution, international faculty distribution among the school. But the beauty at EUC, because we are a liberal arts education institution, that you get exposed to those faculty in humanities and social sciences and business and the Academy of Liberal Arts as well. So you get that exposure as well, not in your own field, not in mechanical engineering, not in physics maybe, but also the faculty in physics and in mechanical engineering. We attract them and bring them back and they can be employed anywhere in the world. They are top-notch faculty. On the diversity of students and SSE, again, we are a liberal arts education institution. Don't think about only the classes, your class in thermodynamics where all of your colleagues are in mechanical engineering. And none of them or a few of them or one of them is an international student. Think about your classes at large at EUC where you get exposed to different cultures, different students from different countries and get the chance to talk to them. We have a goal to increase the number of international students on campus. Honestly, we're not dividing them by school. And that's not an indicator that we measure. But we want more international students on campus because I used to teach, I don't teach now. When I taught a class where there was an international student in my class, the classroom dynamics became totally different. New culture got inserted into my class that everyone else was paying attention to it. That it really enhanced the quality of teaching and learning inside the classroom. And that's a goal of the university. So I encourage you not to focus on your classes in sciences and engineering, and maybe this is an invitation for you and others in engineering and sciences to use that opportunity to study many courses, take many courses outside their field, because that's what will answer Dr. Mu'taz Al-Hilali, Mu'taz Darwish question is about how can we make sure that our students secure a job in the future. It's not by your own discipline, it's all by your experience at EUC from different courses, different classes, and more importantly, honestly, the core curricular activities.
Just a quick addition. It used to be that the vast majority of exchange students came to do something related to the Middle East and some language component and so on. Increasingly, we're getting students who come who are majoring in STEM fields, and in some cases they're not even interested, which is not a good thing, by the way. They're not even interested in studying Arabic. I would take advantage of being here to study some Arabic if I, but we are having increasing numbers, but as the provost said, we cannot put conditions. It's the students and what they're interested in and so on. But we certainly would like to increase these numbers. And then again, the opportunity to work with them, to share experiences and whatever is not restricted to the majors, to the disciplines, but it's spread out over the whole curriculum.
Thank you both. Any more? We have, I think, some more time, a few more minutes for any questions or thoughts. Yes, please. I hope you're going to be sharing the breaking news of you staying.
Oh.
No pressure, no.
May I add to the comment about future of work that you shared? One of the things that we've been working on for the past 2 years in the provost office is looking into how future of work is different and trying to understand what are the competencies most relevant to the dynamic changes that is happening, including AI. So even how we understand our definition, not necessarily definitions, our scope of how we understood critical thinking is different now with AI. Information literacy is different, and everything. Creativity, the ability to come up with creative ideas. Now there is components that you can, so everything is different. So over the past 2 years, we've been working on developing detailed frameworks on what are the competencies of the future, whether intellectual, interpersonal, intrapersonal, technological, and global knowledge or interdisciplinary knowledge domains that are essential for effective citizenship in general, regardless what major you are. And the next step based on that framework that we've developed is using that, working with individual departments to identify which of these set of competencies. We identified over 100 different competency elements that are categorized under several categories. Details can be shared later. But for each program, which are the most relevant competencies to that domain, whether it's economics, whether it's political science and the arts, whatever it is. And then working with departments to map and scan their academic offerings to see which of these future competencies are being currently developed, which competencies are, where are the gaps in these competencies? Are we just checking that these are being triggered in class, or are we actually developing depth in the different competencies as well? So this is work that we've been working on, and will continue regardless of of anything. And this is what we're making sure, institutionalizing these processes and framework, that it doesn't matter who's here and who's there, that this is how we're part of designing programs of the future, not just new interdisciplinary topics, but competencies, future competencies that are continuously dynamic and continuously changing to produce, like you said, they're no longer entry level jobs, but that's being thought of for more than 2.5 years now. So.
Thank you, Fadi. You know, for many years now, for several years now, universities all over the world have been talking about the competency approach to education. But it's one thing to talk about the competency approach to education as a slogan, and it's another thing to operationalize it. And thanks to the work that Fadi has done and his colleagues, we now have very, very tangible, specific tools that will enable us to assess the competency side of the work that we do and revise individual courses. Students will be able to revise, to actually reflect on the competencies they've acquired and whether they need to acquire additional ones. Full programs can reassess their competency framework and whether or not they need to be doing something so that they could enhance that framework. So the point here is that it's one thing to talk about general slogans, and it's another thing to actually apply them. And we've been, I mean, in this area, in this particular area, the work that has been done is truly remarkable, and it will enable us to transform what we do in extremely significant and impactful way.
Thank you, President Dalal. So we'll just be having some closing remarks from AUC leaders before we wrap up the session, and I invite everybody to, for an opportunity to network and join the refreshments.
Thank you. Have a great year.
And last words before we network. In the middle of the day-to-day work, I really forget to thank the people that should be thanked. And I always blame myself for this. So all of what we have said now, each one of you is part of it. So thanks to you for moving the university to all of you. And I also would like to thank two deans who are with us today, Dean Sharif Kamel and Dean Ghada Shimi. As you know, over the summer, we announced that Dean Kamel and Dean El Shimi has been renewed for a new term that will start in July 2026. We do the review a year ahead to give us the chance to, if the dean will not be renewed for one reason or another, that we start that search only. Sharif and Ghada have done a great job in the last few years in really pushing either the School of Business or the Academy of Liberal Arts forward, and we're still expecting from them more. They know us better than anyone else, and our expectation is not less than before. Sharif, Ghada, thank you so much for your great effort, and still I'm looking forward to working with you for one more term. Thank you.
So thank you, President Dalal. Thank you, Provost Abdulrahman. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today and sharing in this important conversation. I wish you all a successful academic year, and I invite you to please enjoy the refreshments and network with colleagues. Thank you so much.